Welcome back. Today, we're going to be starting the bed. If you haven't watched the intro video, go watch that. It explains why I'm building my bed and, kind of gives some context, as well as showing you how this is going to come together. But without further ado, let's get cutting. To start, we're going to mount our blank in the turning center. I chose the turning center because it's going to be easier to machine all four faces perfectly parallel to each other and without shifting in any direction. So first, we're going to plane all four sides of each of the faces just to make sure that everything is perfectly square. Now, you can see here at the very end of my last planing step that the machine goes to 0, spins, and chops off 3 corners of the part. And I made this mistake because I didn't change where the rest position was for my surface planing. If I had changed that in CCam Pro, this wouldn't have happened. I forgot to account for the swing diameter and not just the actual diameter of the part. So when working with square pieces, especially large ones like this, make sure that you check your swing diameter and make sure that all of your tool paths clear the edge of your part. Now that everything's square, we can continue by milling out the decorative details. Now, I did all of these programs in Aspire and then imported them into CCam Pro. Now, all of these are basically just a V-carve program and 4 profiles. And these 4 profiles cut the top and bottom chamfer line and then the outer edge chamfer line. Now, these outer chamfer edges are done on all 4 edges. Now, these aren't super necessary, as you can actually do this with an end mill by tilting your part 45 degrees instead of 90, and then cutting these profiles. However, for simplicity's sake, I decided to just use a V-carve. It gets the same effect done in a smaller amount of time. Now, you might notice these fuzzy edges being left by the V-bit. This is a sign of a dull cutter that needs to be changed. Now, if you have any dull cutters like I do, you can head on over to magnate.net, as they supply all of our custom router bits. After the V-carving, I use a 16th inch ball nose to carve out parts of my family crest. And if you've seen the chair videos that I did, you'll know where it comes from, because I used these on the front legs of my chair. And so it'll be a matching set with those. Once the first side is cut, all that's required is to cut the remaining 3 sides. There are a few more remaining steps that need to be done. Now, I have the score marks at the very top and bottom that basically denote where the top and bottom of the leg are. What we need to do before we can do anything else is cut that off. Now, I actually take it to our drill press to sand off some of those nasty fuzzy bits. Now that we've done that, we can take it over to a chop saw and cut the top and bottom pieces off. Once the part's off the chop saw, we can take it to the vertical fixture, where we can clamp it to the aluminum plate, making sure that our tool and our smart tool can fit on the top. I had to use an extra long 3/4 inch cutter to get the depth needed for this castle joint. Once everything is clamped in, we can set our zeros and start cutting. Now you might notice that I actually drill 4 spots in my castle joint before I actually start any cutting. And this is to help minimize tear out on those large surfaces. This is done by basically taking the point where the cutter would grip the material and throw the pieces out, and instead drilling 2 circles so the blades don't grip on the grain as much. And like that, we have a finished part. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. I think it looks quite nice. Now, if you have any questions or comments about this and why I did what I did, I'd love to hear them down in the comments section. Continuing forward, what we're going to be doing is creating the 2 rails that sit right here in the castle joint. So, I look forward to seeing you there.